Listen, if you have an idea in your head, something that you want to start, a journey, whatever it is that's just calling you to do something, just start. Just go. And
Do it! Just do it!
okay, because I think the main thing that's stopping a lot of people, and what stopped me for the longest time, is just action. You get lost in this paralysis of making sure everything's all right, that you never really take action in whatever you want to do. In the past 3 months, I quit a job that I hated, started my physical fitness journey, started, I guess, a self-improvement journey, and I'm trying to figure out money. So, like, I mean, I've got, so far, I've got 2 out of the 3. Because it's been 3 months and I haven't made a cent. I've actually lost money at this point, putting money into like education and books and fitness. Really, I mean, I even paid a trainer for a little bit. I actually still am for about five more weeks. Have you heard of the Allegory of the Cave? It is a philosophical idea by Plato, and basically, if you can imagine, maybe I'll put up a picture, but it's like if you can imagine being in a cave and there's a wall behind you, there's a light coming off on the other side of the cave, and there's shadows that you can see on your side of the cave. So you have no idea what's happening outside of your part of that cave. The only thing that you know is the shadows that come then into your vision. You don't know what they are. You don't know anything. You have no preconceptions. You just see that we have dancing shadows on your wall, and that's all that you really know of life, right? So essentially, you're stuck in this box without any information, without any sort of movement or any real belief. You will be stuck in this box. So if you put yourself in a box saying that you can't do X thing, you can't be a millionaire, you can't have a absolutely ripped Greek god body, if you say you can't do these things, then ultimately they will not happen, because you've put yourself in this sort of box. And I was having a conversation with a friend the other day, and for whatever reason he was completely content with making $80,000 a year and working for the next 30 years, 40 hours a week, to maybe have some sort of retirement. I think it's absolutely dumb as fuck for him to go and take that route of working 40 hours for 30 years. Why can't you just take that bet on yourself for like 10 years and see where that takes you, and then you can just get a job later anyway. I mean, I understand people have their situations. I happen to be very blessed. People have to make ends meet. You gotta pay rent, you gotta get food, you gotta do whatever. But I'm not saying, like, when there's a will, there's a way. You set yourself in this box, you'll never do it. If you don't have the belief first, it'll never happen. So even if it comes from a sort of, how do you say, like a nonsensical belief, almost like it's too good to be true, you still need to psych yourself into it. Fuck, man. This is so hard. I am not literate. I am not well spoken. But I guess this is the first YouTube video for you. But basically what I'm trying to say with that is we really do set ourselves in these boxes. If you don't set yourselves outside of this box, then you'll never grow. And it's something that you need to do as a human being. We always are growing. But we also always put ourselves in these boxes because it just feels safe. It feels like you know what's going on. You know, you can expect these outcomes, and you never really have to deal with anything too hard if you just set yourself in this box. the current box of America is you go to school, you go to college, you get a job, and then you work the next 30 years to retire. That's the box that we have set as Americans. And I think that's the biggest bullshit lie we've been getting told for the last 20, 30 years, especially after the invention of the internet. Like, it just doesn't make any sense. When you can go on the internet and get just as good as an education, basically, through like YouTube or just research online for the most part, books that don't cost $500. uh, like it's a joke. It really is a joke. And the fact that college tuition has like 300x in the past, however long they've been around, is just like, I don't know. Someone should go to jail for that. Like, this is ridiculous. So that's the big box of America. That big mindset that I think everyone holds on to. You go to school, you get a college degree, and you get a job. If you don't go to college, then you fucking get a job and figure it out. Some people actually figure it out. Some people actually don't figure it out and they're struggling. But I mean, people go to college and they get a job and they're still struggling. Like, it's all bullshit, dude. So, the first step is belief. You got to believe that you got to do something. You got to get in that mindset of being able to do anything. Because in a sense, we can. You can do anything that you set your mind to. And I know this is like wishy-washy. I got to find some actual science to back this up a little bit more. If you don't start with that belief, it'll never get done. So that's the first step, is that you have to believe that you can do something. It can be small. It doesn't have to be a big lofty goal yet, but you have to be able to know that you can achieve something and build that reward structure. So if it starts off small, then it starts off small. But I'll give you a good example. Actually, this is actually a really good example, and it really comes into me personally as of recent. So I have a big hip problem. I'm only 25, but I was born 3 months early, uh, with a fractured leg, and I basically have really bad arthritis on the left hip. As time went on, and I got bigger and older, and especially during college, I mean, I couldn't even walk across my college campus for the most part. I had to use like a longboard that really helped me just kind of like cruise around to get across between my classes. Reason being is because it's just the pain. I mean, I need to have a hip replacement at a young age, so um, I really couldn't walk longer for the longest time. For the longest time, I really couldn't walk longer than like 15 minutes. Like seriously. Um, I don't know why that hurts saying that, dude. I mean, so like more recently, I've actually, because of quitting my job and working on my health and going to the gym, 4 to 6 days a week. I'm going every morning. I go for a walk, and that started as a 15-minute walk. And when I started 3 months ago, I made it to my door, dying, like just huffing and puffing. My muscles are aching. Like it was probably, it was so hard, really. Like, but now, 3 months later, I actually can get up to 30 minutes. And I take a little 5 minute break in between to do some sit ups so my muscles can rest. But that's a lot more, like, that's double. I mean, I couldn't do that before. Um, and so I'm really happy about that because as someone that wants to travel and experience the world, it is kind of rough for me to have been boxed in, right? Like, in a very literal sense, I boxed myself in to believing that I can only really walk about 15 minutes. Um, and although that was kind of the case physically, and it took me, you know, months to get that up and get like an actual, physical behind me, um, I was able to double that. And so that's pretty cool. I'm really happy about that when I think about it. And that's the thing. That's kind of like my. I'm gonna have to edit the fuck out of this, dude. This is so shitty. But step number one: believe you can do something. I figured if I really can only walk 15 minutes, then I'll walk 15 minutes every day. But as I got better and I got easier, I gained that confidence to go for 30 minutes. And it just takes doing. I gotta start. If I never started, then it never would have happened. If I never started with that belief, then we would have never gotten here. The second step is to not necessarily focus on a goal. The reason being is because, let's say if you're like me, because I feel like maybe some people can relate. You know how you tell yourself you're gonna like do something, and in the back in your head you're just like, that's not really gonna happen. I think part of that is because we've gone through that situation so many times that that reward structure in your head is broken. So like, as you want to get these things done, and you've failed in the past to get them done, you create this self-fulfilling loop that when you try to do something new or try to do the thing that you've always wanted to do, that you don't actually get it done. So instead of focusing on that goal, a book by, I think his name is James Clear. Atomic. I know the title of the book is Atomic Habits, and Atomic Habits says that you should set systems instead of goals because these systems will carry you as you go. Um, at the end of the book, not that I didn't read the end of the book, but I okay like just to be honest, I didn't read the end of the book, but like I saw a video and someone told me that at the end of the book he says something along the lines of like success is not a point that you reach. It is something that you are constantly working towards. So that's why goals are not as helpful. If, as you set a goal, you still need to create systems around there to be able to achieve that. If you just have this lofty goal and you don't have steps, then you're just gonna get lost in the way. So I say try not to set goals. Have something in mind, but set systems around it. So before 3 months ago, I've always been an active person, but because of COVID and everything, it's just kind of like died down, and I got a little like sad, I guess you could say, about the whole situation, and I just kind of like let myself go. And I got to a point where I got to like a stress point. I got to a stress point like with myself in like bigness and weight, where I was just like, this is not. I'm good. Like I need to change something, or else we're just not going anywhere. So I decided that I would change something, and I didn't necessarily think of a goal. I mean, I have an idea in my head to get shredded like a Greek god, but that's not necessarily what I'm thinking of. My initial thing is just the consistency. The system that I set for me to go and walk every day is literally have my shoes ready next to my bed and step outside. Maybe don't even go for a 15-minute walk that first day. But as long as you put your shoes on and you step outside and you do something, then you are setting that in motion. And you do that every day, you have now set a system where you wake up, you put your shoes on, and you step outside. Now, give it a week. Maybe you don't even need a week. Maybe you can just go and get to the next step. Whatever. Depends on the person. But now that you're already putting your shoes on and stepping outside every day in the morning, why not just go for a walk? Why not just do 5 minutes? Do a couple of push ups while you're outside, like, you know what I'm saying? And so this shit builds on itself. I've now built or after building that system, I am now consistent because my body, I'm just in it. It's I don't rely on the goal, because if you rely on the goal, then it is easy to be discouraged. Some days you'll do more than others. Some days you'll do less. It just, depends. So because the goal can be intimidating, we chip away at this goal by setting systems first to allow us to reach them. Kind of like building a little ladder, dude. And I think the third step, and arguably the hardest step when you're trying to start anything, is to be consistent with it. And that's why part of everything, the most important part of this is setting those systems. In the words of Marcus Aurelius, he says that you have to assemble your life action by action. So take action. I guess to like recap this shitty video is believe that you can do something. Start with the belief. Don't put yourself in a box, because if you put yourself in a box, you'll never grow. Set aside the beliefs that you've had of yourself. They are not real. You can achieve anything that you can put your mind to. The second step is to stop focusing on the goals and instead set systems around them so you can achieve them. For example, the second example, so the first example was put your shoes at the side of your bed and step outside every day. Because as you set this system, you'll be more than likely to go and start your walk that you want to do every day. For YouTube, I've literally, for the past 3 days, have put this camera in front of me and around like the same time every day and not done anything with it. Not recorded anything. It's just there. So the system behind that is that I'm literally forcing myself to put a camera in front of me so that I can record something and put that down on YouTube. It's kind of a stupid system, but around I'll wake up, I'll get my morning walk out, I will eat breakfast, and then I'll sit this camera in front of me and maybe not record. But that's been the last 3 days. Today, I'm finally fucking recording something. It's in front of me anyway. Why don't I just talk to it? Why don't I turn it on and talk to it? Right? It's the same thing. I have my shoes anyway. I'm outside anyway. And then the third step is take consistent action. Every day. It's probably the hardest thing to do. But that's why we set these systems. We set the systems first so we can be consistent in what we want to do. And you can start off small, dude. That's the whole point, is that goals can be very intimidating. We set up these goals for ourselves. We don't achieve them. We break that cycle of reward, and we don't believe that we can do anything. So instead of focusing on the goal, we set systems around ourselves. So then we can slowly start achieving our dreams. And I hope that this video helped you at all. Time to go for the morning walk. I'm not kidding. I have my shoes right here, dude. Literally. My bed's here. My computer's here. My shoes are here. I wake up in the morning, do a little bit of editing, put my shoes on,